One of the hardest things a DM has to do is add a new PC to an existing party. That party can be out in the middle of nowhere or deep underground. So how do you add a new PC in? Or how do you remove a PC when the player can no longer be at the table? Here at the Laughing Tavern, we got some ideas, including one thing to never do when adding a new PC in. So why don't you come on back and we'll talk about adding and removing PCs for D&D. So you sat down and had a mini session 0 with a new player. Created a character, came up with a backstory, figured out where they fit in the world. The one thing you don't want to do is have them come to the table ready to play and not introduce them to the characters. You have them sitting around waiting for the perfect moment. Don't do this. If a player's at the table, have them playing the game. Now, take 10-15 minutes so that they get to a good introduction point, but have them partaking in the game as soon as possible. There are too many horror stories out there of new players showing up at tables and taking sessions, and I mean sessions, to start playing. There is no reason for this. For players at the table, they should be playing plain and simple. Get them in as fast as you can to the story. Don't have them sitting around waiting. No DM wants a player to leave their table, whether it's because the player has to move away, the player's schedule simply doesn't allow them to be at the table, or, in the worst case, they had an actual player leave. No DM wants to see their players leave. And no DM wants to remove a PC from the party. It throws off the balance of any pre-planned encounters. It throws off possible arcs in the story based upon backstories. However, there's a couple things you can do. One thing you can do, kill the PC. I don't recommend this, at least not without talking to the player. You never know if that character is going to be able to come back, whether because the player moves back, the schedule frees back up. So killing off a PC can be hard. However, if you do it, you can do it right. My buddy Bo runs a game that we all play in. We had a player, Katie, who was going to move away. We all knew she was moving away. And the final session with her was an awesome session. Bo ran it amazingly well. We went up against the simulacrum of the BBEG that just wiped the floor with us, killing Katie's PC in the process. Still upset with Bo for it, but it was done wonderfully. It was done properly. Now, when Katie had to leave my game, I had her past catch up to her. Her backstory was one of such goblins had worshipped her and had always been on a lookout since she freed herself from the goblins. This is where a mechanic or an NPC like I have, Leia the Long Lasting, comes in handy. I had Leia show up after Katie had already gone because, unfortunately, it didn't coincide with our session. So she was no longer at the table. Leia appeared, took Fanian away in the middle of the night. So when the rest of the party went up to see why Fanian hadn't come down for breakfast yet, they found the note from Fanian saying her past had caught up to her. She was going to go away with Leia the Long Lasting and go help someone. Well, they were going to help another NPC, an old PC of mine named Zogan, that the party had previously helped. So they knew who Zogan was. And because they had interacted with Leia, it was all good. So, but at any point I can bring Fanian back if Katie comes back to the area. Which, Katie, if you're watching, I'll let you know when the finale of the whole campaign will be, and maybe we can work out something. So, it sucks when they leave. It sucks when you have to pull them out of the game. But it's easy enough to do. Just, they walk away. So, how do you add a new PC to a party that's far away or deep underground? Well, there's basically 4 ways you can add a new PC. First way, have an NPC like Leia the Long Lasting that can magically appear with the new player. In our case, I had to use this a couple weeks ago when a new player, Rowan, was joining the party. They created a Dragonborn Eldritch Knight. Over the weekend through Discord, I worked with them, did like a little session 0. We created a backstory that they were the last surviving member of a party that tried to take on an adult blue dragon. Leia appeared, said their destinies are done. Yours is still to be decided. How would you like to help a party that may save the world? She agreed. Went to sleep in Leia's timeless tavern. Woke up next morning, left the tavern to enter another tavern, and met the party as they were discussing their plan for the day. Easy peasy, that's it. Little deus ex machina, but what are you going to do? Sometimes you just need to pop a player in. Second way is to have the player already in the tavern or in the town and have that player help the party out. In one case, when Ian, who broke his leg, and that's why we have Rowan at the table now, when he moved to Connecticut, he joined the party and had a character, Cyril. The party happened to be in a tavern, and there was going to be an auction going on. So I had Cyril taking part in the auction. The entire time Ian was at the table, he was taking part in the auction. He was bidding on items, losing items, and watching the party interact. At the end of the auction, there was going to be a fight. One of the losing people for the auction wasn't going to be too happy about losing an item and was going to start to go after everybody. So in this case, Cyril jumped up and started helping the party out. Hey, he joined the party right then and there after that fight was done. So you can have the new PC help the party out in some way. Nice and simple, especially if they're already in a town. The third way is you can have them tied up in the dungeon somewhere. Have them being held hostage. This way the party can come across them, save them, and they join the party. In my case, Bo had a character, Zekrin, who sacrificed himself, which is still another story we need to tell on his channel, to save the party. After that, the party dealt with his death the next session, and they heard mumbling coming from a cave in the back where the dragon was, that kobolds had been seen exiting during the dragon fight. They heard a mumbling, went back there, and saw a lizard folk artificer tied up. Come to find out, his character, Arjawat, thought he can come in here and take the dragon's hoard by himself because it was supposedly abandoned. He got held hostage he got captured by all the kobolds that were in this new dungeon, and they tied him up. So thankfully the party came along and saved him. The fourth way, and this is what you don't ever really want to do, is just have the character show up. Sometimes there's no good way to have the new PC join. So it sucks, but sometimes you just have to hand wave it and roll with the dice, so to speak, and just have the new player be in the dungeon somewhere. Hopefully you can have the perfect moment like Arjawat being tied up in the back to where you can introduce a player at the right time and introduce them thematically, at least, as part of the story. You should be able to work it out. The only way that would be tough is if a PC dies at the beginning of the session, the player rolls up a new character while the rest of the party continues on. And then he's ready to come in. At that point, he's here and let's move on. If you have time, take the time. Make it work. Like I said earlier in this video, don't have the new player sitting there doing nothing for no more than 15, 20 minutes. You really don't want them sitting around. Have them taking part in some form or fashion. So, really quick, let's step away for a message from Advertising Rich. Hi, a quick word from me, Advertising Rich, before we continue. A while back, we partnered with W. Do you like energy drinks or drinks like Gatorade? Well, you need to check out what the folks at W are doing. W produces energy powders and rehydration powders. Their energy powders come with about 2 cups of coffee's worth of caffeine, jitter-free and sugar-free. And the rehydration powders are sugar-free as well. I love both products. I use them all the time now, and so do people in my party. The energy drinks keep us going, keep us hyper-focused, especially after working a 10-hour workday and then having to do a 4-hour D&D session. And the rehydration powders have been a godsend for me. I get dehydrated very easily, especially out in the heat like doing yard work. Well, one of these with their energy powder, this one specifically, their Pine Berry Splash, is amazing, keeps me going. I end up having 2 or 3 during yard work, but the key thing for me is I don't have a migraine the next day because I didn't get dehydrated. So, head on down to the link in the description, use the code, it's a Mimic at checkout to get 10% off your order, and tell them Laughing Tavern sent you. With that, like and subscribe, give us a thumbs up. This video was done with no script. You guys are used to me doing no scripts when I'm walking around my neighborhood. This was tougher. Let me know in the comments if you prefer scripted rich or non-scripted rich. I lean more towards scripted rich because my brain has a tendency to ramble sometimes, and I don't want that coming on video. So let me know in the comments, please. As always, be kind to each other, love each other, and accept each other.